All right, everybody. eCom Tom here with Brian Williams. Brian is one of my first students. I think he is the first student I ever coached back when I was coaching for another eBay dropshipper. And he has recently hit about $80,000 in sales, or I think it's over now, right? 85,
Yeah, over 80,000.
pretty close to 85. So
Yep.
me and Brian have been going back and forth, helping each other out on Facebook Messenger for probably about, I don't even know now, like 9 months now, probably about
Yeah.
that. I actually just found out that I've been drop shipping officially for 1 year because my Zik 1 year subscription ran out while I was away over the weekend, and my VAs had no idea what was going on. But yeah, so for those of you who don't know who we are, or what we're doing at the moment, my name's Tom Cormier. Six figure a month, about 200,000 in sales. I'm on pace for in the next 30 days. eBay dropshipper. I run a Facebook group, YouTube channel. This is going on YouTube, and overall course coach and mentor. So Brian, I started coaching Brian back when I first started coaching for another eBay dropshipper, probably around I think January, February. We've been in contact ever since. He did purchase my course. He's probably one of the first 3 people or whatever to purchase my course back when it was like, supposed to be for another drop shipping person. But now we're here and we've made it, and that was the introduction. So I'll let Brian take over a little bit, talk about himself, just how he got started. We have some questions here. I posted some questions in the Facebook free Facebook group I have, and without further ado, Brian Williams will introduce
Hey,
us.
thanks, Tom. Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for having me on here, Tom.
No
Uh,
problem.
once like Tom was saying, like I met Tom way back when we were in another group. He was actually a US based seller, and so was I. And a lot of the people that we were with weren't actually US based sellers. So one of
Yeah.
the main things that I was interested when I first heard that Tom was on there was that he was a US based drop shipper. And that really intrigued me. And we were going on these Skype meetings and just trying to learn everything we possibly could about drop shipping. So I noticed Tom was doing really good, and I actually was like, all right, let's link up because I'm really trying to do this and figure this out. So Tom actually was nice enough to reach out and just be like, yeah, we can definitely do that. And he showed me some things that I really wouldn't have figured out unless he showed me. And I was lucky enough to work with him at the time. And that actually, most of what he taught me has gotten me to where I am now. I can honestly say that. Probably over 75%.
That's pretty good. So yeah, we used to do there was paid coaching at the beginning, and then we ended up just doing like 1 hour Skype calls and stuff with each other,
Yep.
just catching up every once in a while.
Yep.
And then we kind of have been talking to each other literally nonstop every week, probably for at multiple times a week, but at least once every week for the last 9 months. So we really stayed in contact, and I'm happy to see that he's finally pushed over his hump, and everything has fallen into place at the moment.
Yep.
I mean, there has been some rough patches and some times where you're just like, you're definitely down on your luck and everything, and I'm over there telling you to keep going, keep going, keep going.
More than once.
Definitely. So, do you want to tell a little bit about where you are with your sales and what your progress is or your progression has been so far? It seemed like a lot of people
Yeah.
were interested in the typical maybe questions about what's your profit margins, what's your how many
I
items
don't.
you have, stuff like that. But just start with your just progression in general and when you started, when you got into this, and like what you've done to this point.
All right. Number one thing I would say is you have to start learning this business by yourself first. Like before you start hiring a VA, for me, this is how I started doing it. I like to know something inside and out before I teach somebody else. So what I mean by that is like I didn't go out right away and start hiring a VA until I knew exactly 100% what I was doing.
Yeah.
And until I found a strategy that actually worked. So I didn't hire my VA and probably until like 3 months in. That's after I had listed at least over 100 items and I had just consecutive sales starting to come in. And I knew I could hire somebody because I'm like, all right, it actually works. It's starting to work now. So
Yeah.
that's what I did for that. When it came to like my profit margins and things like that, my profit margins range from like I would say 7 to 25%, depending on what I'm selling. And then what else? My where I'm at right now, I'm doing over $80,000 in sales. So that's basically where I am from. I started out 20,000. I had some trouble getting over to 80,000. I just had to keep pushing. Even after that big April dip that everybody keeps complaining about.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I can say to you guys too. Like everybody was like, there's two different Tom actually ran a different strategy than I did. I wasn't quick enough to actually get a second store started like he did, which is actually still a smart move. And I'm actually working on it right now. But I've been actually pushing my same store that I had since April. So April hit and like I thought I was starting to do good. And then April came and like, you know, knocked everybody out like for a while. And then everybody was trying to regrow everything. So I was in the midst of that. When my store actually started to pick up, I had a VA and I was like, oh crap, what the hell, you know? So we started moving again. And actually that same store that was around when the April dip happened is now doing 85K. So
yeah, that's one thing I have noticed from, at least from the people that have kept moving and kept pushing forward and everything since the April dip. I mean, I'm pretty sure my main account bounced back. I mean, I had to do a lot, like, you know, start promoted listings like everybody was doing or still is doing. And then I probably upped the amount of items I had twofold from, I think I only had like 1,800 items and I was doing around 84,000 in sales when I, like, before all that happened. And then shit hit the fan and now I'm like, oh God. So I started the second account. The second account was killing it, but the main account really didn't bounce back for like maybe, you know, till it was like end of May, I would say, beginning of June when it first started to come back. And then, you know, it got up to like, I think it got up to 84K again in sales. And then it dropped again, you know, recently. Not too bad, but not as good as it could, you know, it's not doing as well as it could have. But the other store kept going strong. And then I started a third one. So it's all about, I would say, just adapting, you know, over time, but like adapting as quickly as possible, where I feel like a lot of people will like to go out there, complain about everything and just sit there and just whine on Facebook, where I know that that's like the one thing that you've never done. And I've always seen you just push through and trying to, you know, always ask questions, but never complain about anything. And like, I think that that's I would say that, do you think that that's the mindset that you need to,
You
know,
have
really
to, you have to, like Tom says, like, all right, so actually while you were on vacation, like I actually reached out to Jason. I'll give you the heads up because I just wanted to just double check with him for a sec. I was like, yo, Jason, like, because my sales dipped for a second for the past 3 days. And I was like, Jason, have your sales dipped? And I was just reaching out to him for a second. He was like, nah, mine have been pretty consistent. So then I knew, like, right there, I was like, all right, let me just check with somebody, see what's going on. Because I had a big dip, and I was like, if it's not dipping for them, then obviously it's just for me. So it's something that I did. So I had to go back, and I actually deleted over 800 items like a day or two before. So I knew that was the reason, but it wasn't climbing up as fast as I had hoped. So I just wanted to double check with him. But then I just doubled down on listing again. I was like, all right, here we go. So I just got to keep listing. So that's what happens. Like, yeah, if there's an issue, you know, and like, instead of complaining, just jump all in and just try and figure something out. And that's what I would say, like, Tom's great at. Like, he's just so quick. Like, I don't understand how fast, like, you get things done. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm not even trying to joke. Like, you just get shit done, like, so quick. I'm like, and then that drives me. I'm like, all right, well, I need to get this done now. So he's been telling me about this second store thing for like ever. And I've just been so procrastinating on it. It's not even fun.
I've done that for other things too, where I just procrastinate. I'm always trying to do the most important thing, but then sometimes, you know, the easier things come into play. You start doing those. Then if you just do so many things, then that most important thing just becomes like maybe the easy thing to do on your list in like a day or two anyways. So it's like, it all kind of balances out eventually. But yeah, I actually do think I experienced a slight dip over the weekend. I didn't really look too much at my sales, like too hard, because I still pulled some pretty decent days. But yesterday was definitely way better than it was on, like, I think Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I had a similar outcome too.
Yeah, so it was like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was a little low, and yesterday was pretty good. All right, yeah, so we'll break into a little bit more of the questions that, you know, so I posted these in the Facebook group that we have, free Facebook group, Dropshipping University Mastermind. We'll put it in the description below. Click on that.
Best group.
And it's growing rapidly. There's like 4,500 people in that group now, or 4,100 or 4,200, something around there. It's craziness. So the first, like, I picked out the main questions here. There seemed to be like a theme of questions going on. First question here is, what software do you use, or what softwares in general do you use? And, you know, just in general, and we'll go over those.
Yeah. So for me, I am now with Profit Scraper, and I'm also with Sale Freaks. But I only have one account, so I'm gonna go over that like a little bit too. So
Okay.
for Profit Scraper is definitely what I'd recommend. Like, if Tom's doing Profit Scraper, stick with Profit Scraper. Like, don't change what's already working. There's obviously so much info already out there that he's done about it. Like, it's obviously shown success. You can see through my results, it works. So I use Profit Scraper, especially after Tom told me about it. He's like, get on it, and I was reluctant because I was coming from WSG, Web Seller Guru, and I was like, like switching over again. I'm like, I don't want to do this. And then, I finally made a switch, and I'm happy I did. I could say all the tactics that Tom uses on Profit Scraper are definitely what work. And I would recommend for the early seller to start with Profit Scraper. Recently, I have been using Sale Freaks as well, and I got to say they're a really good program, but they're an advanced program. They're not
Yeah.
something that you can just start off with and just be like, all right, I know what I'm doing. Like, you really have to know drop shipping before. I would say you have to know drop shipping before you get into Sale Freaks. Sale Freaks is also like way more expensive, probably one of the higher end costing programs that I've ever used. Specifically like ranging from $200 to $400 a month up to $1,000. So they get up in their price ranges. So once you start with Profit Scraper and you can see results, then I'd say maybe start, testing out Sale Freaks, but not until you feel confident enough and that you're actually showing results.
Yeah, I mean, I've been using Sale Freaks now for about, I'd say 3 weeks, and I love everything about Sale Freaks, but it's really that you would really need to know or want to know a lot about like what's going on and just how to run your store basically from the beginning, just how to actually run the ins and outs of your store before you just end up somehow bulk uploading like 2,000 items in one day because you get excited about it and then like
Yep.
max out your listing limit or just other things like that I in my course I forebode about things like that, but some people, if you're not in the course, two, if you get a little excited and you're like, oh, this, I can list so much with Sale Freaks now, and then you just bulk upload a ton of items and then you screw yourself. Like I've seen some things that could definitely go wrong, but I mean, for the beginner, if you
Yes.
know what you're doing and if you've already built up to a decent amount of a store and you want to maybe put a second store on it or, do like, the one thing I want to say to people out there also is like, don't be afraid to change your repricer just because like, you put all that time and effort into learning the first one. It's like, once you learn one, like you can learn any of them and you're going to realize that some of them are easier than other ones.
Yep.
And some of them are not the most popular ones that are easier than other ones,
This is true. Another thing I would say is when you're first getting started, like don't like it's gonna be rough. Like don't think this is like a get in and make $1 million overnight kind of thing. Like it took me months to get to where I am. And like it's just dedication. It's like how bad do you actually want it? Are you gonna wake up every day and actually work on this? If not, then this isn't for you.
Yeah.
You have to stay dedicated. It's not like I can just wake up and just be like, oh, like I made money today. No, it's like, what work do I have to do to make sure that I can bring some money home? That's what I have to do.
Yeah, it's very true. And I mean, once you put in all the hard work and you get your VAs and you get everything going and everything's automated and stuff like that, then it's like, I mean, you still don't want to rest on your laurels a bit, but like you still like that's when everything's paying off. Like I just went and I had no cell service, no internet service in the woods from literally Saturday afternoon until Monday. And I didn't even really look at my computer when I got home on Monday. I fell asleep and I didn't touch anything and nothing died. Nothing went wrong.
That's awesome.
I didn't get any items listed, I guess, because Zik Analytics wasn't activated anymore, but I'll accept it.
Okay.
Any other programs that you suggest or anything before, just in general besides, the repricers?
So just another thing right now, like when you're running, like use one store. So right now I only have one store running Sale Freaks and Profit Scraper. So the issue with that you can run into is they both can't track the same items on if you're running two different programs. So you want to be careful with this. This is a big no-no with eBay. If you do this and you have two different stores and one of them accidentally lists the same item as the other one has on it, then you could get shut down, potentially get shut down. So you don't want to do that. So it gets very, very sketchy when you're running more than one program with two different stores. Okay. So that's another thing I'd be weary about. So that's why I say stick with one and learn it. That would be my main point on this. Just stick with one and learn it.
Yeah, that's very true. If you consider yourself advanced enough, then, you know, go for it. But really, 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 really think twice about it, in all honesty.
True.
All right. So no other softwares you want to, like, you know, talk about? Like, I know you use Zik Analytics, other things like that. Just, you know, anything.
All right. So I use a different auto ordering software because I run 2 different programs. So I like the guys over at Rb They've worked with me since like thick and thin. They're really cool. They have a good software. It's for auto ordering. It works with Amazon. It's supposed to work with Walmart, but it hasn't worked in a while. And all my items, I know somebody was asking about this earlier, like what suppliers I use. So I have used Home Depot and Walmart. But right now, all of my listings are from Amazon, every single one. So I shrunk it all down to just Amazon. I don't use Walmart. I don't use Home Depot anymore.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I have good luck with actually all of them. But I was just like, you know what? Let me just minimize this and make it as simple as possible.
Yeah.
So, like, I just want to run Amazon, and that's why. So by doing that, I was just able to make it a little bit more efficient. So that's what I do.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. But RB they're cool. I actually don't use TrackerBot, but I have used it before. The reason I don't use TrackerBot, RB actually has the same features. So that's why I use RB. There's another one that I use. What else am I using? I can't think of it right now, but something else. AccountObot. AccountObot's awesome too, though. And I think that's through TrackerBot too, right?
Yeah, I'm actually doing a video on AccountObot. Probably next week, explaining it all. And I stopped using it for a while, but I asked the developers, and they said that it'll go back and pull your results up to 3 months back. So I do want to do like a video for like the August, because August just finished, like August, you know, total income like report. It's because of the fact that people, like the guy that posted on the question in the Facebook group saying, oh yeah, if it's only 2% profit, what's it matter how much you sell? Well, it's not, dude. It's not. And your Facebook profile picture is literally a piece of shit.
I can tell him too. I made over $5,000 this month, buddy. So
yeah, so
you did pretty good.
You can sit there and complain on Facebook like everybody else. So what would you say is the number one thing that finally pushed you over from, you know, struggling into hitting, you know, over 80K a month?
One more thing on that last guy too.
Okay.
Also, profit is profit. No matter how small it is, profit is always profit. If you make $2 extra a day, you're still making more money than you had in your pocket. Okay.
Very true.
So it doesn't matter if it's 2%. 5%. If you're not making the biggest margins, I don't care. Profit is profit.
I lose money on some sales.
All the time that happens. And it doesn't matter how small it is. You're still going to make money. What was that last question, Tom?
What do you think finally pushed you over into, you know, hitting over 80,000, 85,000 in sales, you know, from when you were struggling in the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. I switched over to Profit Scraper during that time. I doubled down on listing my items. I increased I didn't increase my marketing percentage, but I made sure I marketed every single one of my items.
Promoted listings, stuff like that.
Listings. I have that going all the time. And those were the three things. I actually went through and I had over 1,000 items. I wouldn't recommend anybody doing this, but I had 1,000 items I hadn't sold in like 2 months, and I just went through and I wiped them out. If I had a second account, I would have put them over there, but I don't at the time. So I took them out and I have them in a CSV file, whatever it is, saved to my computer, ready to go. So just in case I want to use them again on my second account, I still have them, but I took them down, and it took a few days. And then all of a sudden I sprang up to about $2,000-$3,000 in sales for like a week straight. And I was like, all right, here we go.
There you go. I mean, you basically just sounds like you made everything more efficient, more well run. Doubled down on listing, you know, like, people are over there complaining about how they can't be successful and how they've only listed like 100 items in literally like 2-3 months. And you're like, I mean, it's an obvious reason why is what's happening.
You can't just throw up a few listings and expect to make like money from it. You have to just do this every day. Like, it doesn't matter if those listings aren't working 100%. If you keep checking on it, it's not going to work that way.
You don't look at how many views you have. I get so many questions about how many views I have on my items. I haven't even looked. I don't even know.
I know, just leave them there. They've already been shown to sell. You know that there's a potential to sell. If it sells, it will sell. Just keep
Yeah.
adding more new items.
I mean, it's literally random. Like,
Yes.
I mean, unless your item is priced at like an extremely high profit margin that's not going to work at all, that's not random. That's just you messing up.
Yep.
But like, you know, if it's like if you're competitive and in the ball game, in the ball range, like in the ballpark or whatever the hell it's called, like who knows? Like that's why you need to just work the game of volume. Is like the way I teach it, the way I know other people teach it. There is, I mean, Mark from DS Genie does things differently. But
Right.
he's also like a demigod at the item sourcing and finding things and uses the suppliers that nobody else uses. So
yeah, exactly. That's the key. So like there's a difference. So he uses suppliers that nobody else uses. If you're going with the basic suppliers that you should start out with, if you're newer to drop shipping or mediocre to drop shipping and not as advanced yet, then you could still make money, but you have to follow like what's been shown to you. That's what I would say.
yeah. I mean, yeah, just definitely make sure that you can get things to work based off what you've been taught, and then you can go off on your own and stuff like that from there.
Yep.
I mean, that's what always makes the most sense. All right, so we've got that question out of the way. Next one is how many VAs do you have, and when did you decide to outsource? You've already touched upon when you decided to outsource. You said around 3 months in, but
Yep.
How many VAs are you rocking at the moment?
All right, so this is a cool story. So I have 2 VAs. So first one, it took a very long time to hire. So I had hired one, and I've actually 3 things I want to talk about on this. So I got 2 stories. So and then the last one will be what I do when I hire my VAs. So the first one, when I went to go hire her, she actually had shown experience and everything, and I went through her and I hired her through onlinejobs.ph.
Yeah.
And as I was hiring her, she said she was experienced. She had all this good stuff in her resume. Her resume was great. I went to hire her, and she was just a complete dud. She worked for like maybe a day, and I was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, I'm listing more items than you, and I work a job, and then I also sell tow trucks on the side. Like, how am I doing more work than you? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll get some more listings. So I gave her like a few more days, and same thing, just dud. Didn't want to list anything. I was like, all right. So I was like, I'm sorry, but this ain't working out. She was like trying to apologize to me, telling me she'd work. And I give you like one chance. If you screw up on me, then I leave.
And how many days in was it that you decided to get rid of her?
Less than 2 weeks, I would say.
That's the one thing I've seen where I've seen some people that like come to me like, my VA, like I've had him for a couple weeks. He hasn't really been doing much, and then he hasn't listed any items in 2 weeks. I don't know what's wrong. It's like, dude, how did you put up with that? Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, you're paying this guy to do work.
You're the boss. Like, you got to make these decisions. Like, you know how your business is supposed to be run. You know how you want it to be run. You know how much work you're putting into it. You're paying somebody to do this now. That's coming out of your pocket. And like, if they're not keeping up with what you expect, then they got to go. I'm sorry. You know, I don't have time to play games. I'm not here to like babysit anybody. I'm just like, yo, if you work for me, I'll hook you up. I'll give you bonuses. We'll do this together. But if you're not going to work, you got to go.
Yeah.
So I let her go. I hired another one, same thing, turned out to be a dud. Not this time I'm getting frustrated, like, oh my God, like what the hell? What am I doing wrong here? Why are these people not working? So then all of a sudden I actually wound up hiring another one. She had great credentials and everything else. Just keep going for the people who have good credentials, who know what they're doing, have lined up with some softwares that you've listed that you say you want experience in. These people will show up. So I found her and I was like, all right, she was an older woman. And I was like, all right, let me see. I don't know, maybe she doesn't know how to use the internet that well, whatever. So I gave her a shot. She was fantastic. She's been with me ever since I started. And she's doing great. I always hook her up. So that's how I hired my first VA. So I got lucky with her, and I keep her on deck at all times. Second time, so I recently just hired my second VA right before I got married, and it was supposed to be her friend. This is a crazy story. So I was supposed to hire her friend to cover customer service. So I get her customer service friend on board, and she's just not that good. So like some people have luck with hiring within the family and stuff, and I'm like, all right, I see how that works and stuff. So I gave it a shot. Unfortunately, this girl didn't work out. She wasn't as good as my VA, and she just wasn't doing what I needed her to do. So I was like, all right, this girl's got to go. So I dropped her like 3 days before my wedding. Like during that time, I was able to hire, I went on to onlinejobs.ph, and I found another one who had great credentials for customer service, and I hired her right there. I was like, I tested 2. I was like, all right, so I found 2 resumes that I liked, and I did an interview with both of them, and I hired the second one because she asked more questions and she wanted to talk more about the job. So I was like, all right, you're asking me more questions. You have what seems to be more credentials, you know what you're talking about. I was like, I'm going to give you a shot. So I told the other one, like, you know, like, thank you, but I found somebody else. Hired that girl, and I was training her the day before I got married. So I would be with all my groomsmen, and like, I'd be on the computer and I'd be like, hey, you got to do this. And all my boys would be joking in the background, like, yes, sir. Okay, sir. So we were having a good time with that. And I was like telling them to shut up. I got a trainer so I can go get married. So we actually wound up doing that. And I was able to train her, and she did a great job. And I went on my honeymoon, and she was capable of running the customer service section for me while I was doing all that. So
Damn, that was quick.
Yeah, I didn't hire my second VA until like a few weeks ago, probably like 3 weeks ago, but I should have hired her sooner. As soon as you're starting to get overwhelming messages a day and you see yourself on your computer working about like at least an hour and a half a day, just answering business time.
The second I saw that I was getting more than like one eBay's page worth of messages from customers, which I think is like 25 or something a day, then I was like, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done. I would get like 2 pages one time and be like, oh God, oh gee. And just be sitting there. It's like, it's so time consuming. It's like, I haven't touched customer service in 4 months. And I think that if my VA quit right now, like, I would probably shed a tear. And I wouldn't even try to just do customer service again. I would try to hire another VA.
Yeah, customer service is not fun a lot of times. Like, it takes up a lot of time, and you're not making money doing it a lot of times.
No, not at all. No. All right, so we went over basically the majority of the questions here. One question I just wanted to add in towards the end here, I don't know how long we've been going, but it has been a decent amount of time, is what do you think are like the biggest key factors or like mindset behind how to be successful? I'm all about mindset in my life and just the way that I run just everything that I do in my life. I think that's mindset's number one. That's the key. Like, you could be stupid in math, but if you have the mindset to learn math, like, you're going to learn it. Stuff like that, where other people will make excuses. If you have the can-do attitude and stuff like that, that's what I think is the biggest factor. And I want to get more into stuff like this on my channel, but I just want to, you know, see your take on what you think about mindset and stuff like that.
All right. So yeah, so when it comes to that, like how to be successful and how to make sure you are successful, number one thing I would say is surround yourself by people who are smarter than you. I was lucky enough to meet Tom. Tom's definitely fucking way smarter than me. He's helped me boost this freaking store like crazy. All right. So like, make sure you're around people who are giving you the insight. If you want to jump ahead like tenfold as well, like, you always got to invest in yourself. How can you do that? Invest in a course. Like, I would say buy Tom's course. I'm not just trying to promote it, but it has everything in there that you need. I was the first one to buy his course. Like, I'm pretty sure I was the first one. It was just,
I think you actually were, yeah.
He came out with a course, and I'd already been talking with him for like 2 weeks, and I was like, how much? And he's like, this amount. And I was like, here you go. I gave it to him. I was like, there's no questions asked. And like, it had stuff in there I'd never even seen before. And I was like, this is why I do this, because I know how smart he is, and I can see how dedicated he was, and he was where I wanted to be. So I was like, if this guy is doing it, there's a chance that I can learn it by just being around him and utilizing everything that he does. So that's what I did. And another thing on how to be, it's just, if things aren't working out, sometimes they don't, but just keep pushing forward. You just got to see tomorrow as a better day. Like, tomorrow is always going to be a better day. Like, you have a large community to reach out to, like, maybe talk to 1 or 2 people. Don't fucking freak out and be like, oh my God, it's over. Everything's over. Like, it doesn't happen that way. Everything is not over. Just fucking stay dedicated. Do what was working in the beginning. And eventually it's going to take its course and actually start working again. Like, you just got to believe it will. Like, you can't, like, this isn't just a thing. Like, it's just going to end overnight. It's going to keep going. Everybody's making money off of this. eBay's making money. Amazon's making money. Nobody's going to stop it from going. So you just got to be dedicated, believe that it's going to work, put the time in, learn what you can, surround yourself by smarter people than you, reach out, talk to people, and just ask as many questions as you can. And that's what I would say.
There you go. I like that. I really do like that. I would say ask as many educated questions as you can, is one thing I like to add. I'm a big advocate against people just asking random questions that, like, if you could Google it, just like Google it first. I mean, stuff like that.
There's also a search bar on the side of the Facebook group that you
Yeah.
can type in anything that you want. And a lot of times some of those questions will be answered. And I know it gets frustrating sometimes and you're caught in like a weird circumstance and you're just like, holy shit, I don't know how to answer this. Like it's been maybe ongoing for like 1 or 2 days. You can't get the answer and you just post it just out of, just frustration or confusion or like, you just need immediate help. But like if you take the time to search for a minute and just take like 2 seconds to yourself to calm down, there might be the answer you're looking for somewhere within the group.
It's very true. One thing I like to say is you need to learn how to learn. And if you learn how to learn properly, then, I mean, that's all I did in college, stuff like that. I mean, through engineering school, you got the shitty professor up there that's like half baked the entire time, doesn't even know what he's talking about. And like, and he's, oh, we got a test on Monday or whatever. And you're like, shit.
Let me throw this out there too for anybody like Tom. Actually, I'm not a college graduate. I'm actually a college dropout. So I'll throw that in there too. So if anybody thinks this isn't achievable, I have a 9 to 5. I actually work the graveyard shift. I work from fucking 11:30 at night to 8 a.m. and I still get my fucking ass up every day and I do this because I'm dedicated and I see the fucking rewards that it can provide to you. I also sell for a towing company, tow trucks on the side as well, which have helped me in numerous occasions, but I fucking bust my ass. What I don't make up in maybe necessarily book smarts, I make up in my work ethic. So that's also what it is. You don't necessarily have to be the smartest, but it helps to be around those individuals who are smarter than you because you can learn. And if you are willing to learn and use your mind and be around and accept that, okay, this person knows something more than me, and maybe it would be a good idea to implement some of these things, then you are also capable of doing this.
That was inspirational, Brian. I liked it.
I got it.
All right. So I think we're going to end it here. Do you have any last things to say, or do you want to end on that note?
Yeah, just keep going hard. If you have any questions right now, I know a lot of people have been trying to add me on Facebook. I may make a separate account. Like I just don't want to mix my, family relationships with, everybody else who's going to be asking me dropship questions. So I may make a second account so I can add you guys on there. I know people have been trying to contact me, so just give me a little bit on that. You can also message me. Just send me a message. I'll probably respond through Messenger if you reach out to me most of the time. So I may not add you as a friend, but there's a reason for it. I just want to keep my shit like just closed off for right now, and then I'll make something else where it has to do with this. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So
I gave up on that a long time ago after I got way too deep, and I was like, my personal Facebook is basically a business Facebook now. I don't even see people from my life or like from college, not even college, which was like 2 years ago. I don't see anybody on my news feed anymore. It's literally just drop ship this, drop ship that, this group is like nonstop. I don't see anything.
I know. So
it's slightly disheartening sometimes.
I got you. That's why I want to just keep it separate. Cause like, if I get too many questions, people are going to be like, what the hell is going on? And like, it's going to mix too crazily. So I was like, all right, I'll just create another group or something, or like a way, or you can reach out to me on here or something. I'll create something where you guys can touch base with me. But for right now, I'm just not accepting friend requests. Just message me if you have a question. I'll most likely respond to it. I'll say what's up or something.
All right. Awesome. Well, that sounds good. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys, enjoyed this, want to see more of this, let me know. Post in the comments below. If you think it's too long, then it might be too long for you guys. Attention spans nowadays are about 7 seconds, so I don't know. But I mean, this is basically like a YouTube live type thing, but we're gonna just put it on YouTube without being live with people asking us questions live. But if you're in the Facebook group, you would have had the chance to ask questions anyways. I think I might be able to post this within the Facebook group and or like stream it somewhere, something like that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to figure out a way to do that so we can get more eyes on this video and stuff like that. But until next time, just please leave your input, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about a video like this. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video, and we're out of here.
All right. Peace.